right? Everything is cool until it's not. Until it's not. It's cool until it's not. And that even carries over in regards to finance, right? So, the foundation, Private Finance 101. I've had a lot of people interested in how I look at finance and stuff, how I look at money, how I think about stuff, whatever. How do you have bread? How do you look at bread? So I'm gonna get into that. This is personal, y'all. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm talking about my delf. My delf. Yep, I said it. I said it. I definitely said it. So, what we're going to get into is Private Finance 101. And I was thinking, man, where am I going to start? Because if I'm going to talk about finance, there's a lot. I mean, I can start, with the Roman denarius and how, they pay Roman soldiers, a dime of silver per day, or Sun Tzu and the Art of War, where he was talking about like 10,000 ounces of silver can get you a very large army. Or I can go back even further, but I was like, nah, we need to keep it relevant to what we're dealing with. So what are we dealing with? We're dealing with finance in this age. So I'm going to start, but those of y'all who listen to me, who check out the show, The Foundation, here on High Frequency Radio Network, those of y'all who check out the show, sometimes I may start to talk about something right in the middle. And you be like, man, what is this dude talking about? And it takes a while to understand what I'm talking about. And it's like this man talks very weird. And I might do that on this show. And if it frustrates you, I apologize. But this is the only way I know how to communicate. I'm learning as I go along, walking this, plane of existence. So finance, this is the thing to start with, okay? So where am I going to start? We got to start in the mind. I'm just going to do 100% honor to natural law, and we got to start with the mind. Before you get into finance, before you can start talking about, how do I make money, or how do I make more money, or how do I do this multiple streams of income, and just how do I become wealthy, and how do I stun on foods? Because I just want to stun on this food that was talking about my holy shoes in junior high. Whatever your intention, whatever your motivation is, whatever it is, it starts in the mind. It starts mentally. So earlier I was like, you're weak. We are weak. I'm serious. You are weak. You're mentally weak. And that's something that needs to be acknowledged. Number one, we need to acknowledge that we're mentally weak. We don't like pain. Do you like pain? You put your hand over a fire. You gonna keep your hand? No, you don't. We don't like pain. It's just like, what do you call it? Human nature. We don't really like hard work. There's a few of us who enjoy hard work. And get the kick. Most of us are like, man, kick back. We're weak. We're mentally weak. You're mentally weak. You're mentally weak. All the things that you wanted to do that you didn't want to do. But back up. Why am I saying that? We need to understand that we're mentally weak. You need to understand that you and I, we are trained consumers. I mean, look, if there was special ops of consumers, of people who spend money, our people would be the most elite group of special ops spenders that exists. Of course, the United States is a consumer-based economy, right? Cool. Yes. We need to understand this. What is a consumer-based economy? It's an economy that bases its GDP basically off consumption. It's citizens purchasing things, buying things, consuming things. How do you get a consumer-based economy? With consumers. You have to train consumers. I would call it deductive reasoning. Some people call it logical thinking. Some people call it being, what's it called? Condescending. That's the word I was looking for. Some people call it that. Me personally, I used to think that everybody knew everything. I used to think that, I know this, so everybody else knows it. Not true. Not true. You would believe. You would not believe how many things that most of us consider common sense that aren't common. But trained consumer. What am I talking about? We're trained consumers. You have to understand, man. You're a trained consumer, man. Like, that's one of the trained consumer and the trained worker getter-upper at 8:30 in the morning. Let's be honest. Truth hurts, right? But, I'm so seeker of truth, speaker of truth. Would you expect anything different from me? Let's just be honest. Trained consumers. That's what you are. Trained consumers. You are trained to spend. That's what it means. You're trained to spend. Trained to spend in your mind, in your mental. I'm saying, how long does money burn a hole in your pocket? How many of us get paid and in 6 days, 7 days, and got 10% of what we got paid? How many? It's called living paycheck to paycheck, and most people puff their chest up. Man, most of America lives paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because you are a trained consumer. Elite. Special ops. For real. Special ops. Trained spender. Why are you trained? What happened? So why are you saying this? So you know? Well, you just buy stuff. We buy things. I need stuff. You need that, and you don't need none of that. You don't need half of that. We're not producers. We're consumers. Producers and consumers. Trained consumers. Are you a trained producer? Point it out. Edward Louis Bernays. You ever heard of Edward Louis Bernays? See, I be seeking. I seek and then I speak. People call me Sot. People still call me Soul. S-O-L. Cool. It's fine. I take no offense. But my name is Seeker of Truth, Speaker of Truth, Sot for short. Y'all can call me Sot. I don't expect people to be like, hey, Seeker of Truth, Speaker of Truth. But I would be like, what? What's up? What's going on? Peace. Edward Louis Bernays. Louis? I don't know. Who is this man? What are you talking about, dude? This man was born in 1891, November 22nd. What is that? Scorpio? Man, hit you with the stinger. He hit us all with the stinger, baby. He died in 1995. Austrian-American pioneer in the field of public relations and propaganda. Again, so what are you talking about? Remember I told y'all earlier, I might start in the middle, and then you'd be like, man, what is this dude talking about? Why is he bringing this dude? Who is Edward Bernays? I'm going to tell you who Edward Bernays is. His best known campaigns include the 1929 effort to promote female smoking by branding cigarettes as feminist torches of freedom. What? And his work for the United Fruit Company in the 1950s connected with CIA-orchestrated overthrow of the democratically elected Guatemalan government in 1954. He worked for dozens of major American corporations, including Procter & Gamble and General Electric, and for government agencies, politicians, and nonprofit organizations. Of his many books, crystallizing public opinion and propaganda gained special attention as early efforts to define and theorize the fields of public relations. Edward Bernays. He was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. Y'all know who Sigmund Freud is, right? Okay. Woo. You starting to see the forest through the trees. He was a medical editor. He was a press agent. World War I, after the U.S. entered the war, the Committee on Public Information hired Bernays to work for its Bureau of Latin American Affairs based in an office in New York. Bernays, along with Lieutenant F.E. Ackerman, focused on building support for war, domestically and abroad, focusing especially on businesses operating in Latin America. Bernays referred to this work as psychological warfare. After fighting ended, Bernays was part of a 16-person publicity group working for the CPI at the Paris Peace Conference. A scandal arose from his reference to propaganda in a press release. As reported by the New York World, the announced object of the expedition is to interpret the work of the Peace Conference by keeping a worldwide propaganda to disseminate American accomplishments and ideals. Sounds like Hollywood. You're going to disseminate American accomplishments and ideals through media. I heard media, movies and music and entertainment was the number one exporter of the United States. Wouldn't that be interesting? Bernays later described a realization that his work for the CPI could also be used in peacetime. There was one basic lesson I learned in the CPI, that efforts comparable to those applied by the CPI to affect the attitudes of the enemy, of neutrals, and people of this country could be applied with equal facility to peacetime pursuits. In other words, what could be done for a nation at war could be done for organizations and people in a nation at peace. Edward Bernays, Counsel on Public Relations. After returning to New York, Bernays opened a public relations business. In 1923, he published a book crystallizing public opinion, outlining his profession, and taught a course at the New York University. Notable clients and campaigns. Bernays' famous corporate clients include Procter & Gamble, the American Tobacco Company, Cartier, Best Foods, CBS, the United Fruit Company, General Electric, Dodge Motors, the fluoridationists. Fluoridationists? What is the fluoridationists? The fluoridationists. Oh, water fluoridation. They were trying to get fluoridated water. Public Health Service, Knox Gelatin, and innumerable other big names. Bernays worked with Procter & Gamble for Ivory brand bar soap. The campaign successfully convinced people that Ivory soap was medically superior to other soaps. He also promoted soap through sculpting contests and floating contests because the soap floated better than competing products. Bernays used his uncle Sigmund Freud's ideas to help convince the public, among other things, that bacon and eggs was the true all-American breakfast. In the 1930s, the Dixie Cup campaign was designed to convince consumers that only disposable cups were sanitary. What else do I want to say? He convinced women to use prepared batter for cakes and pancakes after the company initially had issues with sales. Bernays did research, realized that housewives were feeling ashamed due to the lack of labor that they had to put into making their food. Bernays instructed them to add an egg in the instructions. And the company went on to report its most sales ever. Torches of Freedom. In 1927, Bernays worked briefly for Liggett and Myers and Chesterfield cigarettes. He campaigned to get women to smoke. The first campaign succeeded. When women smoked more cigarettes, American Tobacco Company brought in more revenue, and Lucky Strike led the market in growth, but a taboo remained on women smoking in public. Bernays consulted with psychoanalyst Abraham Brill, a student of Freud's, who reported to him that cigarettes represented torches of freedom for women whose feminine desires were increasingly suppressed by their role in the modern world. Oh my God. Bernays organized a contingent of women to smoke cigarettes, torches of freedom, at the 1929 Easter Sunday parade in New York. The event was carefully scripted to promote the intended message. Bernays wrote, because it should appear as news with no division of the publicity, actresses should be definitely sought out. On the other hand, if young women who stand for feminism, someone from the Women's Party say, could be secured, the fact that the movement will be advertised to will not be bad. While they should be good looking, they should not be too modelly. 3, for each church, coverage should be sufficient. He's promoting in churches. Of course, they are not to smoke simply as they come down the church steps. They are to join in Easter parade, puffing away. The march went as planned, as did the ensuing publicity with ripples of women smoking prominently across the country. Did you notice? Ladies, you know you likely smoke due to this man, Edward Bernays, among other things. You know, he figured out how to understand the mob mentality, or people or humans in groups, and how they behave. And, a lot of companies hired him. He was, one of the main framers of what we know today as this consumer economy, consumerism. He was the main people who trained you to be a consumer, who trained you to spend. His name is Edward Bernays. You can look him up. I'm not lying. So mentally, we got to understand and think about, like, how many thoughts and ideologies that you hold in your mind and your heart do you question? Like a thought, like I am this, or they are this. You question that? Why do I think they are this? Who put that thought into my mind? And who stands to gain by me believing and exercising that thought or idea? How many? We do the same things over and over so many times, but we expect different results. And we get mad at ourselves, mad at the people around us. So if we can't control our mind, you'll never be able to control your finances. If you can't understand what you're up against, if you can't be honest with yourself and say, I am weak, I haven't taught to be a consumer, I haven't taught to spend, money burns a hole in my pocket, it burns a hole in my account, fine. If you're going to be a consumer, if money's going to burn, a hole in your pocket, if it's going to burn a hole in your account and a hole in the floor under the teller's desk and then a hole in through the vault, and it's going to keep burning holes through, if that's what your money does, the least you can know is some things on finance. So private finance 101. I had to say that to get to where I'm at right now. Sorry, I kind of started in the middle, but that was the front. Now we're in the middle. Real money. I know I wax poetic about real money. I wax poetic about gold and silver. And, here, I'm going to get specific and tell you why. Excuse me. Not only have you been taught and trained to consume, a trained consumer, not only have you been taught and trained to spend, a trained spender, you've also been taught to save. Here's a certificate of deposit. Get some bonds. Get some burner bonds. Put your money in a bank account. You got to open a checking account and you open a savings account. Okay. I'm going to tell you why you were taught this. All right. You were taught this due to the fact of what real money is and to the fact of what tangible assets are. Before I jump into what tangible assets are, I want to tell you what inflation is. What is inflation? Look, y'all know me, I like to go to sources. What better source than the Federal Reserve website itself, federalreserve.com, Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. These are the fools who deal with inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is the increase in the prices of goods and services over time, period. www.federalreserve.com/facts/economy_14419.htm. First sentence. Inflation is the increase in the prices of goods and services over time. Inflation cannot be measured by an increase in the cost of one product or service, or even several products or services. Rather, inflation is a general increase in the overall price level of goods and services in the economy. Not one thing, not a couple of things, pretty much everything. The overall increase in the price of goods and services. What is the inverse? There's obverse and a reverse, right? The obverse is inflation, but I'm going to tell you the reverse of inflation is devaluation. And people are like, oh, it's deflation. Sure, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll agree with you and walk away and go eat some really good vegetarian food. But the obverse or the reverse of the obverse of inflation is devaluing the currency. And this is what's being hidden, right? But I'm going to read it again. Inflation is the increase in the prices of goods and services over time, right? The Federal Reserve pushes for 2% inflation on the currency per year. What does that mean? Every 10 years, your $20 bill, your $1 bill, your $100 bill loses 20% of its value. Hold on to that right there. The Federal Open Market Committee judges, which is basically the board of directors or board of trustees of the Federal Reserve, judges that inflation of 2% over the longer run, as measured by the annual change in the price index for personal consumption expenditures, is most consistent with the Federal Reserve's mandate for maximum employment and price stability. When households and businesses can reasonably expect inflation to remain low and stable, they are able to make sound decisions regarding saving, borrowing, and investment, which contributes to a well-functioning economy. I would like to offer a counterpoint or a counter-argument that households and businesses would rather that their currency does not lose value over time. And I would like to reasonably expect the value of the currency to remain the same. But whatever. For many years, inflation in the United States has run below the Federal Reserve's 2% goal. It is understandable that higher prices for essential items such as food, gasoline, and shelter add to the burdens faced by many families, especially those struggling with lost jobs and income. At the same time, inflation that is too low can weaken the economy. So, you might have lost jobs and you be, worried about your incomes and, food and gasoline, but, we're worried about the weakening of the economy. When inflation runs well below its desired level, households and businesses will come to expect this over time, pushing expectations for inflation in the future below the Federal Reserve's longer-run inflation goal. So we don't want you to get used to this inflation being low over time because you'll want it later. So we're just 2%, right? So back to, the being trained to save, and all these dollar-denominated assets. What is the dollar, man? What is a dollar? The dollar is a note, man. I have in front of me a dollar bill. Says Federal Reserve note. What is a note? A note is a promise to pay. It's a promise to pay. I got a silver certificate. It says silver certificate. This certifies that there is on deposit in the Treasury of the United States of America $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. So that was the flipperoo, right? But silver certificates and gold certificates did not lose value. And, the government wanted to manipulate the purchasing price of the dollar. So they put in these Federal Reserve notes. And at the time they had different banks, state banks, different banks were issuing their own notes as well. But, hey, now we got these Federal Reserve notes, these promises, which leads me back to, if you're saving, rule number one, private finance. If you're saving in a currency that depreciates over time, you are technically saving your family and yourself into poverty. because the currency is steadily depreciating. And there's nothing that you can do about it. So we understand what an asset is. Asset versus liability. I like to talk about and just quote what Robert Kiyosaki said. I don't remember, I think it was in Rich Dad, Poor Dad book or whatever. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. I want to, just add on a little bit to that. An asset puts money in your pocket or maintains the purchasing power of the currency that you used to acquire that asset. Tangible assets. There's financial assets, there's instruments, there's certificates and stocks and bonds. That's not private. That's all public. Tangible assets. Gold, silver, platinum, diamonds, emeralds, pearls, collectible cars, collectible art. Real estate. These things that appreciate in value. These are what is known as tangible assets. True assets. True wealth is held in tangible assets. Speaking of real estate, I dropped my book. Oh no. Real estate typically is going to be where most families' wealth is held. And that's why, most of us don't have any money or we're poor because, we don't understand the power and the necessity of real estate. Today, 2/3 of America's middle class wealth is represented in home ownership. Home ownership. You're talking about private finance, number one. You got to understand what currency is. You got to understand what real money is, gold and silver. You got to understand where the majority of wealth is held in the world, and it's in real estate. And lawful money versus legal tender. And since I said so, lawful money is money equivalent to land possession. And would you say gold is very, very valuable land, is, part of Earth, and is fully capable of extinguishing debt involving real property. Legal tender, on the other hand, which is, the fiat currency you have in your pocket, in your bank accounts, is an offer of an exchange that has been made legal to offer. It may or may not be equivalent to land in possession. It's not. Federal Reserve notes are not. And generally does not extinguish debt. Legal tender merely discharges the obligation to extinguish the debt. This means someone else will eventually have to pay the debt. So it discharges the obligation to pay, but it doesn't pay. It discharges the obligation to pay until a later date. But real money is what it is. Oh, hey. And by the way, this is the argument that I understand, in the Patriot and or Secure Party movement, and I get it. I get it from the simple fact that, regardless of what job you had or how much you make a year, you were never truly paid for your labor. You were given notes, which is, a promise to pay. And that's usually what people allege to offset the debt. And okay, I get it 100%. But, we got to know the foundation. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, real estate. That's where I was. So over 2/3 of the average American middle class wealth is represented in home ownership. Average home ownership rates from 1970 for so-called whites was 62.9%, so-called blacks was 41.6%. As of April 2018, the so-called white has increased from 62.9% to 64.2%. According to Pew Research, in the Center Tabulations Survey of Income and Program Participant Data, the change in median net worth of the Great Recession was larger in so-called blacks at 52% versus so-called whites at 16%. This is mainly due to home ownership, owning property, not owning stocks and owning property, real estate. So the policy of the notes is that the notes, the creators of the notes, the Federal Reserve notes, the Federal Reserve has a board called the Federal Open Market Committee, and they stipulate the policy with regards to these notes is that they're going to depreciate the value of the notes over time. And this is what's going on. So this is what needs to be known, acknowledged, and understood before, we can really get anywhere with finance. Anywhere. And this is why, this is Finance 101. Because these are the things that we don't know. You don't know what you don't know. We all went to public school. Public school is controlled knowledge. That's what they want us to know. There's no, if there's no informed family member or family that we come from, then we are uninformed when it comes to true finance and true wealth. In the simplest form, now that we understand tangible assets, now we can understand appreciating assets and depreciating assets. An asset that appreciates in value, you buy it for $100, and next year's worth $125. That is appreciation. That's something that appreciates in value. We were trained consumers to purchase and spend our, quote, currency on depreciating assets. Cars, not classic cars that appreciate in value over time because they get older and older. But no, Mercedes and Lexus and Hondas and Toyotas, these things, some faster than others, lose value over time. Especially new cars. As soon as you drive off the lot, they lose value. Clothes lose value. TVs, phones, computers, laptops, sneakers. All consumer electronics, most and all consumer goods lose value pretty much the moment you purchase them. Well, actually, technically, 30 days after you purchase them, because that's when the return exchange expires. If we're honest about how we live and what we're doing with the currency that we receive in exchange for our life energy on this planet, then we're looking around our homes, our apartments, whatever, and we're looking at all of the depreciating assets that we have acquired over time. So Finance 101, second rule is currency is just that. It's not money. Real money is gold and silver. In order to pay yourself, in order to get paid truly, for real, and not to be playing yourself or playing games with logic, it has to be in gold and silver. How do you do that? Well, ideally, you would take all of the currency that you receive in exchange for your labor and convert it to gold and silver. In most jurisdictions, you may be taxed on the purchase of gold and silver. To me, that's neither here nor there. Most of us aren't going to do that. Why? The cable company doesn't accept gold and silver. I can't go to the grocery store with a bunch of silver and put that on the register. And if I could, I probably wouldn't want to. I want to hang on to the silver. So currency has a function. These notes, they have a function to maintain your quality of life for you and your family. Pay ongoing expenses of you and your family. Pay ongoing expenses of, your private administration, your public companies. That's what currency is for. Saving in currency in a checking account, good luck with that. You're going to save yourself into poverty. And there's nothing I can do about it. First thing, biggest thing you do is exchange those worthless pieces of paper into gold and silver as fast as you can. You're going to protect the purchasing power of your labor much more effectively in precious metals and gold and silver than you ever could in fiat currency depreciating 20% every 10 years. Minimum. Think about it. Your labor didn't depreciate over those 20 years. You still did the same work. The company still got the same benefit. What we were paid in is losing value over time. You understand that? Y'all get that, right? It's plain as day. You can go to the Federal Reserve website and they will tell you, inflation is the increase in price of goods and services over time. Nah, man, it's the devaluation of the currency I'm being paid for my labor and energy on this earth, and y'all are doing it on purpose. You're devaluing the currency. No, we're not. We're keeping pace with inflation of the prices of the goods and services. How do I buy the goods and services? Well, you buy them with the currency. So it costs more currency to get the same goods and services. That's called inflation. It's also called the devaluation of the currency in my pocket, fam. This is a game. When we understand that this is a game, this is a game that's played on us. It's played on you. This is a game that's played on the public. That's why, most money managers, one of their biggest selling points is, how traditionally their fund has beat the rate of inflation. Because people who don't know, if I'm gonna keep my value, my energy, my wealth in cash and give it to you, you better at least make sure it maintains its value by beating inflation. So what does that mean? Which means you got to earn a return of at least 3%. In my opinion, because I would say that it's above 2%, the inflation on the currency. I would say, because they take out, what do they take out? They take out food in the consumer price index. They take out energy in the consumer price index, and I think they take out something else when they're adjusting for inflation. It's a game. This is a game. 100%. So, number one, when it comes to private finance, is you got to get your mind right. You got to get your mind right. You got to admit that you're weak. You got to admit that you're a trained consumer. You're a trained consumer. You don't even know why. Well, now you know why. You know how, at least. And why is, of course, for the benefit of everyone else. This whole game is about getting you and your heirs to not work for yours in your private estate, but to come and work for my private estate for low wages. Because we have businesses. Don't start your own business. Come work for our business. We'll give you a salary. We'll give you a company car, blah, blah, blah. It's offensive, really, because how can they give you that and still make money? So you automatically know that they're making more money off you than you're making off of yourself. And the industry rule, because I went to business college, is 3 times. So whatever I pay you in salary, I need to make 3 times that. So if I pay you $30,000, you need to make $90,000 a year for my business. Otherwise, we're probably going to give you a bunch of weird reviews and then fire you and get someone else that can make 3 times what I'm paying you. That's what business is. There's a cost for corporate hiring, corporate turnover, and to maintain employees. So I would rather have your children and you come work for my family business than have my children and me work for the family business. And with your labor, we can make great profit. You're not my family, so I can pay you whatever and don't feel bad about it. And wonderful, I can go just chill on this island, eat crumpets, and look down my nose at peasants such as you. That's the name of the game. And it's been going on for hundreds of years. Industries and sectors have been set up by wealthy families, and the public school system created and constructed to, quote, educate the public basically on how to go work for a company or corporation in the public. Think about it. I don't care what degree you have, whatever, you're going to work. 9 times out of 10, when you get out of school, you're going to work for some company. Am I lying? If you're an actor, you're working for the the movie companies. You're in broadcasting, you work for the broadcast companies. You're a landscaper, you go work for a landscaping company. You're an architect, you go work for an architect company. Or, if you're lucky, you'll start your own company and then work for that or work through that if you're smart. But it's a game. This whole thing's a game. You got to know what real money is. So really, the foundation, Private Finance 101, consists of getting your mind right, knowing that you're weak so you can do something about it, knowing that you're a trained consumer, a trained spender, you're trained, and you're trained to consume and spend on depreciating assets. That's what you're trained to do. Things that you're not necessarily going to pass on. It's not even as valuable as what you paid for it. Hey, look, we got 60 seconds left in the broadcast. I'm going to go over. You will want to call in if you're checking us out online. Call-in number 563-999-3625. 563-999-3625. You got about 40 seconds and peace. Yeah, we got to understand the policy of fiat currency that is being used. We got to understand what fiat currency is. We got to understand what real money is. We got to understand what we're really doing. We're exchanging our life force, our energy that is being redirected for some other purpose outside of our family for currency that is depreciating over time. It's steadily depreciating over time. And we're taught to save. Save. It's a mental game, first and foremost. Anyone who tries to teach you something and doesn't address the mind somehow, they're doing you a disservice. So am I going to do, Finance 201 next week? I don't know. Maybe I'll wait a couple weeks or something, and then we'll get back into this finance stuff. But look, I know maybe people was talking about, he's going to talk about instruments and monetizing instruments, profit instruments, and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. Y'all ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for that. It's like, when I was younger, I wanted to drive. I wasn't ready for it, though. I've smashed up everything, hurt people and stuff. But understanding what's going on. You're a trained consumer. You're a good consumer. You're a good consumer. Good job. But what are you going to do about it? And understand what's real money. You ain't never been paid in your life. Unless someone handed you gold and silver, you were never paid. The obligation to pay you was discharged to a later date when they handed you a note, because a note is an offer. It's an offer of agreement. So when you accept the note, there you are. And this is, constructive agreement, statutory law. And statutory law is cold, baby. People call it public. I call it the wacky whack. I hate everybody equally in the public. I'm serious. That's one of my things. In the public, I hate everybody equally. I really do. Get away from me. Get off me. It's very but hey, if you're not converting at least 10 to 15% of every dollar that you earn into gold or silver, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because what you're essentially doing is you're saving for your retirement, realistically. Regardless of what system exists, when it's time for you to, sit back and chill, for a little bit, I bet you gold and silver is still going to be valuable. And, it's something to think about. If you got a 401k or an IRA, you got a job, man, you look and see if you can self-direct. Call them. Hit them up. Hey, who do I talk to find out information about the 401k account, about the 401k, my 401k? And they'll tell you, you got to talk to so-and-so. Hit them up. Call so-and-so. And be like, is there any portion of my 401k account that I can self-direct? Is there any portion of my 401k account that I can self-direct? If they say no, I don't know, what's one of them noises that they made in the game shows when they said the wrong answer? Whatever. If they say yes, next thing you got to say, who do I get in contact and how much can I self-direct? Because what you're going to do, which I highly recommend, is you're going to self-direct the portion that you can, and you're going to take that money, you're going to sell whatever you have, like whatever shares you're going to liquidate it, get the money, and you're going to buy precious metals. You're going to buy American Eagle gold and silver coins. And it's going to be held with a third-party custodian. So you got to find a depository, to hold it. But, they have an account, and they charge a fee every year. But at least, you're holding a portion of your retirement in real money. Because, when currency depreciates, it inversely affects gold and silver. So, gold and silver appreciates. The value, rises with gold as the value decreases with currency. And then, if you're able to do that, sit back and feel good. If you can't, if they're saying, hey, you can't self-direct your IRA, man, then do 20 to 25% of what you get paid converted into gold and silver. And I'm saying, like, you lose if you convert stuff to gold and silver, and a week later, a month later, 2 months later, you got to sell the gold and silver because you got to pay for something. Man, that's bad budget. That's bad budget. Unless it's like an emergency or something like that, you should be years. So, make sure the budget's right. But yeah, that's one-on-one right there. And get your hands on some real estate. Whenever you can, as soon as you can, quit making excuses, all the blah, 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 man. Go to a credit union or to a bank. I would suggest a credit union because they have better rates on mortgages. And, say, hey, I'm looking to qualify for a first-time home buyer loan. Can you guys help me out? You guys help people out with that, and just sit back and listen and do what they say. And quit making excuses. Go get some property. You got a friend, you got a family member, you got a sister, you got a brother, you got an uncle. 9 times out of 10, you got someone that'll probably go in on you. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're going to get this duplex. And you and I, we're going to live in one unit, and we're going to rent out the other unit. And we're going to split the profits. You can get an FHA loan, which is first-time home buyer, FHA, Federal Housing Authority, first-time home buyer loan, for a single family, a duplex, a triplex, and a fourplex. We're playing. real estate. And then if you get an asset, which is something that puts money in your pocket, which is you get something that's not a single family home, something, duplex and up, you basically just bought a business, if you think about it. You bought a business that makes money. It just so happens to be real estate. Gold and silver and real estate. That's what you should be doing. If you're doing anything else, if you're trying to trade and you're trying to look, if you're doing anything else as far as investments and anything like that, you're tripping. Unless you grab gold and silver and you're looking to grab real estate. And the only thing that I would be like, okay, yeah, you could do that, and you probably should do that, is life insurance. But that's for the next show. We'll talk about life insurance and how that's part of private finance. But I think it's mostly just a lot of it has to do 99% is mentality. It's your mind state. It's not about being rich. It's about being cool. It's about being able to do the things that you want to do when you want to do it, even though maybe you don't do it. It's about having access to money. Having access to wealth, having access to credit, even though you don't use it. You got to develop discipline. What good is a $25,000 credit card with a $25,000 credit card limit if it's maxed out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Because you're sitting there thinking about all the things you can buy because you over here a trained consumer. You over here a trained spender. So I can give you $1 million, and if your mind's messed up, you're going to be in a worse economic situation in 3 years, 4 years, than you were before I threw you $1 million. So, unless you get your mind right, you're not going to get your money right. It doesn't matter all the books you read about finance, unless you get your mind right and put proper action behind that. So, if you're saving in real money, gold and silver, you ain't got no checking account. If you have real estate, you're looking to grab some real estate, that's a big thing on your mind. You're already on the right track. But you got to address that consumer mentality. You got to understand who Edward Bernays is. You got to understand his effect on consumerism and understand what a consumer-based economy is. You got to understand the difference between an asset and a liability. You got to understand the difference between purchasing a depreciating asset or an appreciating asset, and start changing the ratio of depreciating assets versus appreciating assets. Hey, I want more appreciating assets than I have depreciating assets, and let that be a goal, and work towards that. And of course, you're going to need a computer. A lot of you, people trade, people do, Amazon stores and stuff like that. You need a computer. Those things depreciate. But if it's part of what is necessary to generate income, then whatever. Don't get weird. Just be aware. And that's part of it, And at the same time, finances and everything. Get out, man. Go enjoy your life. And especially enjoy it with the people that you care about and who care about you. Because, ultimately that's what it's about, as far as I'm concerned. But if you don't understand these, private finance 101 principles, you download the show, something. Check it out. Check this out as many times as you need to. And understand that I'm telling you the truth. I'm the seeker of truth, and I'm the speaker of truth. And what I'm telling you is what I know from experience. I'm not giving you legal advice or financial advice. Do your own thing. You can listen to me and lose everything. But I don't know. My opinion, and that's what it is. But these are fundamentals. As far as I'm concerned. And in order to get better with your finances, you got to get better with your thoughts on money, on value. You got to acknowledge that, look, this right here I'm holding is a representation of my life and time that I will never get back for the rest of this known life. And show some respect to yourself and show some respect to the life and the time that you dedicated to receive this stupid paper fiat depreciating whack ugly currency. And use it what it's for. Use it properly. That's what I got. That's it. Should I go to the phone lines? I don't know. I'm gonna go to the phone lines. I go to the phone lines. I just, I hope y'all keep picking up what I'm putting down. It's necessary. It's multiple streams of income is the pathway to wealth. You never get rich by working a job. It has never happened. It will never happen. You'll never make it. It's a pyramid. Working a job is a pyramid scheme. The owner and the CEOs and all, they make more than you. People on the top make more than the people on the bottom. Looks like a pyramid to me. I always encourage you to start your own business, start your own family business, and create your own private family estate too. Be a steward of the income that is produced by that family business. It's a start. In a family, of course, families have multiple businesses, and families have investments and ownership in multiple businesses. Multiple income, multiple streams of income is the pathway to wealth. The more income streams you got, boom, and then you want to get them automated. You want to wake up and look at your phone, and you got money in the account and stuff. But I can help. If you want to start your business, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. Set up a consultation. Hey, we'll sit there for an hour, and I'll put you step by step. Most people would be like, "Oh, I'll call you in a couple months." I think I have enough here. I think you've given me more than enough. Thanks for your time. So most the way it goes, man. Hey, I got an email from someone, man. This kind of, it was funny. I was just like, wow. My man was like, okay, so it was for somebody else in the quote conscious community that is not me. I don't know how he thought that I was this, but he's not on high frequency. I don't even say this brother's name. Like, I don't deal with this brother at all. Like, this dude, honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth because I'm not saying his name. I don't even respect his work. I think his work is trash. I think he misleads a lot of people. Anyway, my man set up a consultation. He thought I was the guy. I'm not the guy. Here's your bread bag. So my name is Sotel, Sotel, S-O-T. That's Sam, Oscar, Terrence, L, Sot, L, E-L, Edward, Larry, Sot. And I'm the host of the foundation here on High Frequency Radio Network. That's just me. I'm not that guy. I'm not your other guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The angry guy, the little angry man. He yelling and stuff. He be yelling. He be getting mad. Yo, he be getting mad. Yo, how am I supposed to learn when you're yelling at me? Why you yelling at people? Hey, I feel like these people should chill out and enjoy life, man. Hey, that's just me though. I'm Sotel. I'm not the little guy yelling. I'm not the other guy just tripping. I'm not Yusuf L. Definitely not Yusuf L. Even though a lot of people say I speak like him, I sound like him. But Yusuf's my guy though. Yusuf's definitely my guy. I rock with Yusuf heavy. But all these other guys, nope. Definitely not. That guy. The weird guy. I'm not that angry guy. That guy that yells at you when he's teaching you stuff. He be yelling at you. He be yelling at people. People like, man, he mad. I don't know. I can't work with him. I gotta work with you. Like, man, I don't know. Life is good for me though. I'm gonna go to the phone lines. I'm tripping. 214-2375. You've been on hold for a minute. 214-2375. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Peace. So this day out there was good.
What's up, man? What's going on?
Not too much. Really, really good show. Really good show. especially bringing up, the psychology behind the consumerism.
Oh, yeah, we got to know that. We got to know it. You got to know your enemy, man.
And that's what I was going to say, is if you could expound upon that into the Prussia education system, like that could be another thing that people could possibly learn a little bit from, like how you're being taught, what you're being taught. You familiar with that term?
I would just tell people, and I would say that if you really want to know about the school system, you got to look into, what's this guy's name? John Dewey, who was a professor at Columbia's Teachers College, who he set up the PEA, which was, what's it called? The Something Education Association. Man, I can't remember what P stood for. I'm drawing a blank. Progressive, that's what it was. The Progressive Education Association. And was heavily endowed by Rockefeller, and they made it no secret that their mandate. They stated that no, they said that the bulk of the population is biologically childlike and requires lifelong care. The Progressive Education Administration, heavily endowed by Rockefeller, and had lots of ties with the Board of Education.
Yep.
But it's all just teaching you to go work a job. That's all it is. It's teaching you to go work a job, not how to support yourself, not how to balance a checkbook, not how to make sure that you protect your purchasing power from what you exchange your energy into. It's not telling you how to build business credit. You don't learn none of that stuff. You be in high school, junior high, elementary, all these damn years, and I don't even know how to get an EIN for a business. It's all built just to have you go work for some elite's family's company, or a company that the elite owns or has major shareholding power in, or something like that.
Yeah, it's amazing that you brought that up, though, because I was just having a conversation with one of my old friends from high school about the FBLA meetings, the Future Business Leaders of America.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I picked up more from you in the archives before I even started calling in than I did from that 12 plus kindergarten, 13 years plus from college. Specifically being able to generate revenue, or still in the rap thing. Jay-Z says he's a check writer and others are royalty receivers. I want to be on the other side of that check. Like, somebody be happy that I signed my name to what they're getting paid. Not knowing, like you said, they're making me 300%. So sure, take this big ass check. I'll take 2/3, you take 1/3. It'll be cool.
Right.
It's good math for my family business.
Yep, you a nice guy.
Yeah. And just wanted to, tap in, say, good show. It's good to be sometimes away from, banging on the same thing or coming at it from a different angle, I guess I should say, because it's still the same thing. But it's really amazing after people start figuring out that, they've been somewhat intentionally misled, once you start getting to the upper levels of the pyramid that you mentioned earlier. Like, those people know that they're not doing right by the masses. And a lot of people just want to keep their head down and, ooh, look at me, I came up in life. I got a job working for the government. Yeah, all right, well, that's cool. Be better if you're working for yourself, your community, your family, But, just wanted to tap in with you, and then I also want to link up with you on the private side for something I heard about on Sunday. I'd like to get into some more training, if that's cool.
Okay, yeah, call me tomorrow.
All right, we'll do it. So appreciate what you do, fam. Like, doing the digs and pancaking these toes, like you used to say. And just know there's a whole flock of us out here that support you and appreciate what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, All thanks, honors due to the Creator and the ancestors. I'm a speck of dust, man, but I appreciate you, man. Thank
you. And the Hollow Reeds, because without them, we get no music, right?
Well, yep. It's through me, not because of me. But no, I appreciate you, man, holding it down. Been down for a while out there in Tejas.
Yep. Lone Star Rapping, deep in the heart of Texas. Well, all right, man. Have a good one. I appreciate you. Peace to you and yours.
All right, man. Yeah. Enjoy yourself, man. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, we'll do it.
All right. I'll do one more caller. And I'm out of here. I'm out like the Boeing 737 MAX. Too early, too soon. 915-0068. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This your man's Demetrius from the 9. What it do, Sot? How you doing?
Hey, fam, what's going on? How you doing?
Man, I'm feeling good, looking great, man. Like my boy Mello would say, this another brick in the foundation. What do you think?
Yeah, man, it's been a while. I ain't heard from Mello. I hope you good. I hope fam good.
Hey,
I trust you.
Like you say, every time he hit the line, man, he fresh out of work. You know what I'm saying? Grinding like me. I've been gone for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because after you learn so much, you get busy. Sticking with the show and all, and doing the some training. I need to get with you tomorrow too. I'm gonna make a call. I know we've been playing phone tag. I gotta call you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm pretty open tomorrow. Give me a call.
I'm sure I'll do that. But man, I just had a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Because I got my kids. They still going to school or whatnot, virtual right now, with everything going on the way it is. But the information that you was dropping today is well needed, even though, I was well aware, but reiteration is always healthy just to get, them gears turning. And I was thinking, when it comes down to the children, or my children, what's your suggestions on what to teach them and how to teach them? Now, I know you don't want to, I don't want to keep them in public school, but then throwing them in private might not always be the answer. And then, I don't know, keeping them home, I don't want them to have, be like a social misfit. So it's like I'm cornered. Any suggestions would be, greatly appreciated.
Even if your children go into public schools, it's always, you always got to educate them privately, with regards to finance, with regards to commerce, with regards to civics, with regards to law, etymology, sociology, so on and so forth. These things that they're not getting in school, definitely, we should be teaching them at home. Yep, and then show them the difference. Like, yo, this is what we doing, this is what they doing, and this is what happened to us, this is what happened to them. And, they'll make
because my daughter.
See.
Yeah, and I see that part, especially when they get older. But it's like, I don't know. I guess it's painful to watch my 8-year-old. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to, throw them out too much. But I do show them about people they might not teach about in school. So I just keep going that route, showing them his history and let them know what's going on. And as we go through school, I make sure them grades stay up, because I don't want them to be too shy and then branch off into a rabbit hole or something,
Yeah, I always tell people, going to school, at the very least, it's basic education, of course, but, it teaches people how to deal with people in the public. Is really what it does.
Mm-hmm. But I remember one time you were saying, college is all that good schooling is showing you how you learn. So, once somebody understands how they learn, ain't no limit. Literally.
Yeah, but then, see, if you got, so like, let's say your parents, let's say your parents went to college and stuff. That's all they know, and they didn't teach you nothing different. And then now you going to start a business and stuff, or when do you stop learning? Because when you're in college, it's like, okay, you're graduated, now go get a job. Here's your degree. But privately, it's like when do you stop learning and actually be like, all right, now I can start making moves? And that's where I see a lot of people.
Always.
That's why I see a lot of people in the private having issues. It's like, I wasn't taught, how to do this on my own, and I wasn't taught when to start and when to not, and when to, when I was ready, and when, and it's stuff like. So it's like, at least being able to show that or part of that, I think is very important for our heirs, for the next generation. It's like, even in school, when you're studying a lesson, they had labs. They had, you had to do a problem. You had to show the work. You had to get in there and do some stuff. You couldn't just read it and be like, oh, that's cool, and then just go out to recess and eat some chicken nuggets and stuff. You had to actually do the work. And I think that's the same thing with, the private and, starting businesses. And, it's one thing to know the thing. It's another thing to do it. And there has to be some sort of, whether it's a ceremony or some sort of ritual to where it's like, okay, boom. You have enough to go start your business now. Go do this. Go do that. Blah blah blah.
Makes sense.
And I think that would be important. I think that's important. If you're gonna be like, okay, well, this is what public school. Because if you show your children what public school is, they ain't gonna want it. They're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
My children was like, I don't know, Dad.
My daddy said, I'm straight. No, I don't want to hear all that, Daddy.
I'm going to school for. Why don't you just teach me? Why don't you just teach me, Dad? Why don't you just teach me?
Man, that's a whole curriculum I got to come up with.
It's cool, though. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's doable. It's definitely doable.
It's doable. Yeah, I like that. In my mindset. More reason to give you a call tomorrow in the private, my brother.
Yeah, hit me up, man.
Hope
everybody pretty open tomorrow.
Got something for me.
My man, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I hope everybody that's tuning in got something for me. Be dropping jewels.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. That's why I do the show, man. Trying to, pancake toes, hit people in the mouth with juice boxes. I got the juice. I'm throwing juice boxes.
Everybody like juice, you know what I mean?
You hit me in the mouth, like, man, that's great. You better drink that. That's great juice, man.
Man, yeah. Fat. Big fat. But, hey, man, you stay blessed. I appreciate the radio show. Mm-hmm. Everybody be blessed. You know what I'm saying? Peace to the guys, folks.
Family, appreciate you calling in, man. Peace to the guys. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, y'all. Well, I said I would take another call, and I did. I followed through on my word. You know what I'm saying. No, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all checking out the show. I trust that you learned something. Consistency and dedication is one of the two most important and luxurious keys that are needed for success. 100%. We have a tendency to, get all fired up about something, and then, after a week or so we fall off, and then, our conscious minds excuse our lazy behavior or lack of, conviction. We got to kind of get away from that, especially when we're dealing in the private. Private information, private investigation, private study, private trustee training, whatever. A lifelong pursuit of learning should be your goal and your display. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to parenting, when it comes to, just being friends or being a real man or woman, it's to do as I say, not what I do type of dance. When really it should be a do what I do, because I do what I say type dance. So, you know, you got to do better so that you can show better. And so better can be seen, so then better can be expected. And it's just like an everyday thing. It's like, oh, nothing. Yeah, that's just what we do. And, you know, when I'm able to achieve those types of things, you know, especially with my children, like, oh, yeah, that's just what we do. It's a very proud moment for me. Because just a generation ago, that was not what we did. It's not at all. But I'm glad you see it that way, and you know, it makes me feel good that you know the hard work that I have put in has you know paid off. And you know, I just want to pass it on to y'all. And I can't work for you. I can't grind for you. I can't get up and hustle for you or read for you or study for you. But I can, you know, I can try to help you. I can do my best to educate you, and hopefully I can maybe sometimes inspire you to do your dance, you know? Because we're all capable, you know, we all have the capabilities, but, you know, do we have the conviction? Do we have the consistency? Do we have the dedication? Do we have the faith in ourselves, the self-esteem required? You know, do you believe in yourself? Do you think you can do it? Do you know you can do it? And a lot of us, we want to get money. We want to get rich, we want to get wealthy, and, you know, we don't realize that in order to do that, we have to fight some internal demons, emotional demons, psychological demons. We got to look at ourselves in the mirror, and a lot of times we don't like what we see. And, you know, we got to be willing to continue to look so that we can take stock of what it is so we can change it, because you can't do nothing if you don't know what you're doing. And you can't throw anything in the air if you don't have it in your hands. And I can sit here speaking metaphors all night, and I'm not trying to bore you, but what I'm trying to say is you can do it. I believe in you. And if that means anything, all I ask in return is that you believe in yourself. And know that if you want something bad enough, you can get it. And, you know, be careful what you focus your mind on, because if you're accountable for your thoughts, and you're not too happy with your life, if you take stock and, like, you know, write down your thoughts, you might realize that you think a lot of negative thoughts, man. Maybe you should chill on that. Choose to think positively, which is hard when you try to do it. You be like, man, I didn't think it would be so hard to just think positive. It is. Try to go 2 hours without thinking a negative thought. See how difficult that is. But try, and you know, you get better, we get better, we get better. And life changes. And when life changes, situations change. But that's it. I trust y'all learned something. Private Finance 101. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Hit me up. You know, consultation, trustee training, passport, no social, part 1, part 2. The Foundation Trust Primer, over 18 documents handpicked by me, just in case you're starting out and you're like, oh, where do I start? Start with the primer. As well as, you know, Foundation Trust Series, part 1, part 2, part 3. And what is that? It's basically, man, I used to do presentations before COVID. You go to, like, you know, California and Texas and Atlanta and New Jersey and Chicago and stuff. And just, you know, do the dance. Tell people about, you know, whatever. And use more personal stuff. I had a presentation and stuff. I pretty much just put it on a DVD. It's edited a little bit, you know, so it packs more of a punch, I guess. But I put it on DVD. And you can grab that. Even though, you know, there's over 80 different types of trusts, and, you know, the specific one we deal with is very specific, and, you know, any wrong move can cost your estate. So, you know, it's just the trust series gets you used to what we're doing and how we do it and what's specific and so on and so forth. You know, I recommend it. But, you know, above all, I recommend you get into trustee training, set up your private estate, and, you know, from there forward, paying yourself properly in precious metals, doing your best to get your hands on some real estate as fast as possible, getting your hands on some life insurance, and then, you know, maybe talk about a private family foundation, 501c3. But, you know, as you establish your private estate. You're going to move into a different tax bracket. You're going to mitigate taxes. Your life is going to change. It's up to you if it changes, and it's up to you when. So email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. I trust that you enjoyed the show. I also trust that you learned something. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I definitely appreciate y'all who have been down for so long. You know, a lot of people have been down for, you know, literally since day one. So shout out to, you know, the day oneers. And, you know, holler at me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Let me help you out. You know, it would be an honor to assist you in your private estate. But with that being said, y'all have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. And I'll catch you on the other side. Right here on highfrequencyradionetwork.com. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace to the gods.
High Frequency Radio.